HollywoodJunket.com. I'm Jules Sanchez. We're here in Los Angeles, California at the Orpheum Theater. We're going to check out the So You Think You Could Dance auditions. We're going to talk to Mary, Nigel, and the guest judge. I'm Jules Sanchez, and you're watching HollywoodJunket.com. We're here with Mary Murphy. Now, the ballroom extraordinaire. Now, I have a question. You have these dancers that are coming. They're all asked the same question. Have you studied your ballroom? Why aren't the dancers coming prepared with their ballroom?
Well, the thing is most of the schools across the country usually have started, they do jazz, ballet, and tap for the longest time before the show. We do see schools now that are offering everything. And then the next inclusion was kind of hip hop. And then, you know, there are schools that have it all. I try to bring it in my own studio and have all the different styles, but I have to say, it's really tough selling contemporary when we're a ballroom studio. A lot of people come in, they want to learn how to social dance and have a really great time, but we start kids out young in my school too. We've had an influx. The ballroom studio, since So You Think You Can Dance have started, has really kind of helped, and Dancing with the Stars, let's face it, have helped the numbers go into the ballroom studios. But most of the time, there is a huge separation. So when somebody's under one roof, it's so much easier to take hip hop, jazz, and ballet because they're at that same studio. Most of the time they have to go to another studio. Ballroom is more expensive to take.
Hey, HollywoodJunket.com. I'm Jules Sanchez. We're here with the man with the master plan, the dancing man with the master plan of So You Think You Could Dance, creator, executive producer, Nigel Lythgoe.
Jules, you're always a good talker.
Thank you. I love to talk. Now, we've just talked to Mary, and she told us that you guys have experienced some great hip hop dancers this year that have surpassed last season. Can you give us a little?
Yeah, sure. There was one kid called himself the Exorcist, and he said to me, "I'm going to steal your soul, put it into my body, cleanse it, give it you back, and then kill the poison in your soul." And I went, "Okay, go ahead then, off you go." The guy was fantastic. He got a minute-and-a-half standing ovation from the audience. And I think what it is with these hip-hop kids is they haven't had the creativity taken out of them. So they haven't been overtrained. They're not bored with dance, and they're constantly trying to create new and interesting things. And we found some this year that I think are absolutely terrific. And doing unique steps, signature moves, if you like. Because, Jules, you know how many we see. We get bored,
right.
You know, and especially if you... And other people go, wow, wasn't that fantastic? You know, if somebody does 6 pirouettes, it's a standing ovation. We see 6 pirouettes regularly now.
Right.
So you're not bringing anything new. So these kids bring us something new, and that's why I guess Mary is excited by it. I still get excited by ballroom.
Right, exactly. One last question for you. Now, what celebrity have you not had on So You Think You Could Dance, either in the judging chair or performing, that you would love to see?
Good question. Good question. There's quite a few, to be honest, Jules. I think Justin Timberlake would be terrific. Catherine Zeta-Jones, I'd love to see. Baryshnikov, I'd love Baryshnikov to come on. But there's an awful lot of, you know, of the old style dancers that are still around that I admire, like Mitzi Gaynor, Dick Van Dyke, that, you know, everyone's going to say, oh, they're too old, but they know the business, you know, they're hoofers. Rita Moreno from West Side Story, fantastic.
My mom's favorite movie.
Really?
West Side Story.
Yeah.
She loves it.
I mean, George Chakiris, all these characters are there. But in this world, Shakira.
Right.
You know, great little mover.
Bring
really.
some Blue Ivy on with Beyonce.
Absolutely,
The hip hop is extraordinary because a lot of it is like they're street dancers and they're learning their tricks, and I'm sure they're with their friends on the street doing crazy things. And I mean, as trained dancers, you don't see that a lot, you know, running up walls and flipping around and spinning on your head, and, you know, Nigel yelling freeze and one guy's standing on his head with his feet in the air, and you're like, I can never do that. I mean, so what they can do with their bodies is extraordinary, and I think the question is, can they learn the choreography? And if you can take that extraordinary talent and like crazy physique that they have and like what their ability and mix it with choreography, you have like a situation like Hawk back in, you know, a few seasons ago. He was a great example.
On tour with LMAFO, right?
I mean, like, look, it's all of a sudden, he probably never dreamed of that, you know? So, I mean, it's finding that raw talent that we found and we've seen and seeing how much choreography can they learn. Can they dance with a partner? But it is extraordinary to see, because when they have that hip hop background that's so raw,
Right.
and then they're brought to that level of the show, I mean, I think it's magical.
Well, speaking of Hawk and the former alumni of So You Think You Could Dance, who are you excited to see and have you seen working in the industry since their appearance on So You Think You Could Dance?
You know, this show is such a great springboard for those dancers that are extraordinary on the show. They get a great fan base, and they learn so much. They grow like crazy. Catherine McCormick, I mean, is one of my favorite. I mean, she's done a lot of my routines, so obviously I have a personal spot in my heart for her. But she's now going to be the lead in Step It Up 4 that's coming out this summer. So you talk about, I mean, she was a dancer, just, you know, pounding the pavement like everyone else, and now she's a lead actress in a major motion picture. I mean, that's extraordinary. So I think she's one to watch for, because she's been doing a lot of acting too as well. But I mean, there's a ton of them are working on Glee, they're working in television, they're teaching, they're Mob, they're everywhere. And you know what? When I have a job and I want to hire the best dancers, I go to the So You Think You Can Dance alumni, because they're professional, they have been through pressure situations, they can work under pressure, but they're extraordinary dancers, and I trust them. So, I mean, it's the place to be. You have to go on the show.
Excellent. I'm Jules Sanchez. This is HollywoodJunket.com. So You Think You Can Dance, Season 9.